What's going on, guys? My name is Kyle and welcome back to another Spud Cup race day. This week marks round 4 of season 4 and it was absolutely insane. So without wasting any more time, let's jump in and see how week 4 went. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Spud Cup race day. Today marks round 4 of our 4th season here in the Spud Cup. Today we're going to be heading over to the USA and racing at the famous Watkins Glen. Today we're racing in the boot layout with a total track length of 5.41 kilometers. Today's track is definitely going to put people through its paces and provide some incredible racing across the board. Let's have a look now at our results for our sprint race to set the grid for our main feature. We have Jörn in P1 and myself in P2. Don't ask me how that happened, but it did. We have JDM, Sketch, and Matt rounding out our top 5, with Will, Jeff, Corey, Munkus, and Tim rounding out our top 10 positions. Underneath those, we have CJ, Aiden, Mixter, Lars, Jake, Matthew, Dart, Lynx, and everyone below that being Tom and David, finishing out the rest of our grid here today. We have a total of 20 drivers in today's race session, and like I said before, it is definitely going to provide some interesting racing. So let's jump to the grid, get ready for the green flag, and get ready to get this race underway. So here we are on the grid, ready to get this race underway, and the green flag is waved, and we are racing. That was a hell of a lot faster than I thought it was going to be, but we are underway. Jörn gets a very commanding lead, already out and ready to race. We've got Sketch side by side with myself. I'm right behind. This is going to be a very, very tidy, but could be messy turn 1. Jörn getting a very commanding lead further down the pack. No dramas just yet. Everyone doing a very good job keeping it clean. A very, very clean start so far. Nothing too harsh, nothing to complain about. Everyone's out and ready to go. We're looking at Matt now going straight down the right-hander. Let's jump quick up to the pack. You can see Jörn out large and in charge. He's got quite a large commanding lead already. Did not take long at all for Jörn to get out in front, but he's done a bloody good job. Half a second of a lead in front of myself. Sketch is right behind me, barreling down, ready to go. Look at these MX-5s attacking the boot for the very first time, going through the bus stop. Very first time, lap 1, cold tires. Everyone's looking pretty good so far. A little bit loose in the rear, but nothing too crazy. Further down the pack, everyone's doing a bloody good job. I am so surprised to see no carnage just yet, but you can see there, last car coming, Dart. That is the last car of the pack, and no carnage yet through lap 1. Let's head further up the pack. We're looking at myself now, looking right behind. You got Sketch, Jörn still out in front, 7/10 ahead, absolutely flying. He is out and ready to make an impact on today's race. This is going to be a very, very interesting one for everyone involved. You can see Sketch already putting pressure on me, ready to make sure that I know that he's there. Look at how close Sketch is already being to the back of my car. You can see him there tucking right in behind. I'm not even going to comment on the livery, but he's doing a bloody good job so far in the race. Absolutely killing it. Is he going to make a dive down into the second last corner of this area? Is he going to make a move? He can't quite get it to stick, but he does a bloody good job of making his presence known. Jörn still 8/10 out in front. Look at how clean of a race we've had so far. You can see Will up into P4, Sketch P3, Matthew still right behind in P4 and P5. Everybody is still very, very close to the pack. There's not a lot of stuff happening. You can see Jeff is darting in and out. I think he's coming in and out of connection. Jörn still out in front, doing a bloody good job. 7/10 ahead. Sketch 5/10 behind myself. This is going to be very tight. Some people going very wide there. Tim and Will getting a little bit loose in that second last corner of today's track, but that is going to be the end of lap 1. That is our first lap down. Now we have a 40-minute session here today at Watkins Glen. You can see everyone now just completing faster after faster laps. Lars doing a 2:14.9 straight out the gate, and that is already setting such a good precedent for what today's race is going to look like across the board. You can see they're getting a little bit wide, just a little bit there from Mr. Matt Foster, car number 32. Got a little bit wide through turn 1, bit side by side with Tim. Lars is in that pack as well. Look at how close everyone is just right. You can see, look at Tim in that orange livery just chasing down Matthew. You've got Lars in the car right behind, and this is going to be a chance for Tim to make an opportunity. Is he going to make a move, getting in that slipstream, going to pop right on the inside? Is he just going to tuck in top behind? We'll see exactly. A little bit of bump drafting here in these MX-5s. Nothing too crazy, but we want to keep on board. See, have a look at Matt and Lars with Tim right behind, and that is just pressure. Absolute pressure there from Tim. Look at him go. Really making his presence known right behind Matt. Wants to make sure that he's going to be able to take the opportunity when he can, and he can. He does. Tim gets on the inside. Lars can't quite get it to stick, but Tim makes the move. Tim gets the move through the carousel. Lars also gets the move to the carousel, and that gets Lars out in front of Tim as well. Lars has now made the move, and there's contact. There's contact with Lars and Tim. Oh, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Lars's front left is done for. Absolutely finished. That'll be a tow back to pits, and it is. That is absolutely not a way I thought lap 2 was going to go. Here I was making comments earlier that the carnage was very limited, but apparently not so much. Let's jump up to Sketch now. Sketch still in P3, 5/10 behind myself. I'm 6/10 behind Yearn. We've got a lot of contact just with bump drafting and getting very, very close to these cars. But let's jump a little bit further down the pack now. You can see Mixter in P6 is 3/10 behind Mr. Matt Foster. You can see he does say it's Kyle's fault, but apparently it is absolutely not. Going into this left-hander here, look at Mixter lurching up on Matt, wants to make sure he knows that he's there. Really, really close driving here from the guys. Just look at how important, this is just crazy. The closer you can get these cars, the better off they're going to be. The bump drafting here in Watkins Glen is just going to prove to be a very, very crucial element. Look at CJ as well in the car, the black car a little bit further back, throwing it sideways around that second last corner. This is just going to be one of those tracks. The more pace you have, the more momentum you have, the less you want to touch the brakes, the faster you're going to be. It's just going to be one of those things of staying in the slipstream and making sure you can pick your opportunity. Mixter making a move here as well. Mixter making a move on Matthew through turn 1, and he gets it done. Mixter absolutely doing a bloody great job here. Mixter has definitely shown himself, especially in the last couple of weeks of the Spud Cup, that he's going to pick his moments. He's going to pick his times to overtake. He's going to make sure he's doing a safe job and making sure he only has to do it once. Mixter has definitely improved over the last couple of seasons of the Spud Cup. And like I said, he's definitely looking for his opportunity to overtake. He's not going to try and make an overtake and then not get it to stick. He's going to make sure you know. And look at this now going 2 wide. Matthew backs out. Aiden gets a move up in right behind Mixter. Bloody good driving by the guys here so far. Aiden getting very loose in that FedEx MX-5. Matthew now slipping down into P7. We've still got Yearn half a second out in head. Sketch a second behind myself, but this is where the action is happening. Look at these guys so close in between each other. We have Aiden 2.5 behind Mixter. Matthew 3.5 behind Aiden. We've got a couple of different changes in position with Matthew and Corey. Look at these guys going side by side. Corey backing off a little bit. Matthew getting on the outside. We've got Jake tucking right up behind Corey. This is going to be very, very close. Very, very close. You can see there Jake tucking right behind Corey there in the Collingwood livery, doing a bloody good job. Matthew making his way through the double right. Very tight hairpin here, and this is where everything can come out of whack. If you get a little bit of oversteer and you don't lift off, or you don't do a good enough correction, you will lose it in that hairpin there. And we saw that a lot through practice today. It's definitely going to show itself throughout the feature race, but we'll see. So far it looks to be pretty good. But you can see Jake now making a move. This is going to be very interesting. Jake and Corey side by side. Corey gets it on the outside. Jake still tucks right behind. Matthew going a little bit wide through that part of the track. Not too bad. Nothing too crucial, but he still wants to keep it nice and close as best he possibly can. Aiden now 3/10 behind Mixter in P5 and 6. We are currently looking at Corey in position 12. Sorry, he's right behind, 1.2 seconds behind Matthew. Jake is within a second behind him, and Dart Links are right behind Jake. You can see them. Look how close they are. Dart in the Highway Patrol livery. Links right behind that. She goes a little bit wide, nothing too crazy, but she wants to stay nice and close. She's doing a bloody great job. Now, I know Lynx came into this race. She had no practice. She didn't get any time to get any laps in before today's race session, so I know she was very, very nervous. But judging by the way she's been handling these first 4 laps, I am not at all surprised to see how much improvement there has been in the last couple of race weekends. Fantastic job from Lynx there today, and I cannot wait to see how she finishes up. Let's jump a little bit further up the grid. We can see exactly what's going on with Aiden. We're looking at him right behind Mixter. Aiden in P6, Mixter P5. Aiden is now 3.5 through behind Mixter, going into the bus stop now. Let's see exactly what happens by these guys here. Mixter getting on the brakes a little bit later, very close to that barrier, mounting the curbs in these MX-5s. You got CJ. CJ's had a little bit of issues. I think CJ's had some problems. He's blinking. Nothing too crazy. I thought he was losing positions, but I think he's just blinking. Let's quickly jump back up to Mixter and have a look at this battle that's happening across the board here. Will still out in P4. I'm still right behind Yearn, 4.5 behind. We're going to jump up to them and see myself and Yearn racing in P1 and 2 in just a second. But Lynx, 2.5 behind Corey. Corey, 1.5 behind Dart. The battling that is happening in these individual packs is absolutely insane. You can see me, 2.5 behind Yearn. Below that, you have Aiden Matthew and Munkus in 6th, 7th, and 8th are all within a second of each other. You've got Corey, Dart, and Lynx all within a second of each other as well. So there's definitely some good pack racing happening across the board. Let's jump up to myself and Yearn and see exactly what's happening at the front of the grid now. You can see Yearn commanding a lead. I go very, very wide there, get a little bit panicky trying to catch up to Yearn. Jumping on board myself now. This is exactly what it looks like going through this part of the track. You have a very tight left-hander here that goes uphill to try and get your car slowed down and not oversteer. And then this is flat out. You're flat out all through this corner. You want to get as close up on that curb as you absolutely can and just look at how wide you're pushing these Mazdas. You cannot go any faster through there. Flat foot, no holding back. Drop down into third, brake a little bit, and then get your foot planted. Feed it out to that outside side. Don't hit the wall, and then you're using the slipstream of whatever car's in front of you, or just absolute pace, flat foot, all the way down into turn 1. Let's see exactly what happens here through turn 1. We're going to follow Yearn's line because he is definitely quicker off the out of the gate than I am. Now you want to get as nice close. Look at how wide that was. I was so wide out of that corner, and I'm absolutely going to pay for it in this next coming lap. I'm 5.5 tenths, 6 tenths behind Yearn now, but let's jump back on board myself. You can see 170 kilometers an hour going uphill through Watkins Glen, and this whole area from turn 1 all the way through to the bus stop is flat out. You are flat foot, 4th gear, getting up to 5th gear. We're going to hit 200 kilometers an hour before we hit the bus stop, and just look at how far ahead Yearn is, but the slipstream is proving to be crucial here today. Half a second, down to less than half a second, and let's see when Yearn gets on the brakes. He gets on the brakes at about 200 meter board. I get mounted that curb, get on the brakes at about 300 meters, and now we're pushing back. Still half a second, flat foot, trying, hoping for the best. Let's quickly jump further down. You can see Munkus has made a move. Munkus made a move on Matt. They're side by side to the bus stop. Oh, he missed the overtake, but Munkus makes a bloody good move. Gets past Matthew in the bus stop. Incredible driving there from Munkus. Again, another one of those drivers that I'm not at all surprised to see finding quick pace in this MX-5. We've seen him in other seasons throughout the Spud Cup, and he's just done such a great job of making his presence known. Incredible work from Munkus so far. Aiden, right behind Will. Let's jump up to them as well. There's just stuff happening everywhere. Stuff happening everywhere. Will makes a dive on Mixter, but doesn't quite make it stick. Mixter is still in P4. Will in P5. Dart and Jake are making moves. They're making overtakes. There's just so much happening across the field. You can see Jake, I think he slipped down. I think it's Jake's gone off. Jake's gone off. Oh, Bud, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have bloody said anything. Jake's had a spin. I think that's the left-hander heading into this area. It is this left-hander that Jake's just had a bit of an accident on. That is a downhill braking zone. It is a downhill left. It's very, very easy to fall into that trap of oversteer and lose control of the car. Unfortunate way for Jake, but he's not out, down and out. He is not down and out by any stretch of the word. We still have to pit. There is a lot of things that go into this race, and I would not count him out just yet. Let's jump up to Will now. Will, 1/10 behind Aiden, and look at the pace. Will right behind Aiden. Look at them. Side by side, he's going to make a move last corner. Oh, they nudge slightly. He hits Aiden just slightly. Aiden gets a little bit loose in the rear, nothing too crazy. I'm sure that's not the last thing he said. Last time he said that in his lifetime. Aiden getting a little bit loose. 1.5 tenths is Will right behind him, chasing him down. Let's jump back on board with him. Look at Aiden go. This is where it's going to be hard. Down into third. Try and hold on. Down into second. A little bit wide there for Will. Goes a little bit wide, just an off track, not a slow down, but this is where it all comes down. You are flat foot all the way through this part of the track, like I said earlier, and you are going to utilize that slipstream to the utmost ability that you have. Right behind him, you can see, look at how much pace he's made. He has made up so much pace by just getting in that slipstream, and this is where we're going to see it happen throughout the bus stop. He is right behind him, and this is where we can see things change. We can probably see things change here. They're going to be side by side. God, I can't see a bloody thing because of the trees. They're going to be side by side. Aiden just gets out in front. Will backs out a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but now you got Munkus. Munkus is right behind Will, and again, like I said earlier, he's going to make that opportunity to overtake, and he will take it. He is right behind Will. Will still right behind Aiden. Everyone getting very close to the carousel. It's flat foot all the way through here. Third gear, 150 k's an hour, and this is where we had a bit of an issue with Jake earlier on. We're on board with Will now, having a look. Downhill braking, hard left. You're from 4th at 180 k's, and now you're doing 120 in second. It just goes to show how fast you have to slow the car and how much rotation you actually do need to make that left-hander happen without facing that issue of oversteer. Aiden going a little bit wide through that right-hand hairpin here. Will is sticking to it, really, really close behind him and utilizing that slipstream of Aiden's car to stay within that distance of him. Let's jump a little bit further up the grid now. You can see Yearn doing a bloody great job of just being out in front, getting the lead, holding the lead on for the most part of this race. You can see him now 13 minutes in to our 40-minute session, and he is not sweating. He's not panicking. He's there. He's out in front, large and in charge, like we see him every single week putting the hours and pace in. I'm half a second behind, and I've done a pretty good job of holding on to him as best as I can, but again, not an easy task at all. Let's jump a little bit further down. You can see Tim and Will, they're changing for position. You can see Monkus is making a move on Will, but can't quite make it happen. Oh, this is going to be very, very close by the guys here. Very, very close. Monkus gets to the inside line for the last corner. Will on the outside. Monkus cuts across. Will tucks in right behind. And Monkus gets a position. That's Monkus up to 7th. Will down to... Monkus up to 6th. Sorry, Will down to 7th. And now they're back to forward. They're back again, ready for the first turn. They're going to be side by side going through turn 1. What is going to happen here? Will's on the inside in the Macca's livery. Will's on the inside. Monkus on the out. Monkus cuts across. Closes the door just a little bit, but not too bad. Will tucks right in behind. This is going to be a very, very close race by these drivers out in front. You can see Aiden goes a little bit wide to turn 1. Not a big deal for Will and Monkus, but that means Mixter's going to get a little bit further ahead. He's now 2.5 seconds in front of Aiden. Mixter, 3/10 behind Sketch. I'm very, very close to Yearn. Let's jump up ahead. You can see, let's have a look now. Look how close we are, trailing down towards the bus stop. Yearn gets a much more confident launch through the bus stop, absolutely mounts that first curb going through that part of the track. Sketch, I think, had a little bit of an accident. I think Sketch has had a bit of an accident. He hasn't. Mixter's just got absolute pace on him. Doing a great job of getting close, and he's overtaken. Incredible work, though, by Mixter. Incredible driving. Again, incredible driving, incredible pace, and just shows the improvement in this driver this season is nuts. Absolutely insane. Monkus has now made a move on Aiden. This is just bananas, man. Will's made a move on Aiden. There's just stuff happening everywhere. You cannot stop. You cannot stop. Anywhere you look on the track, there's overtakes. There's something happening at some point, and this is why we knew Watkins Glen was going to be a great track to use, and we knew that these MX-5s would definitely show to some very competitive racing across the board here in this track, because the slipstream is crucial. The tracks are very fast paced through the first half of the track. Then you have your nice slow winding parts of the track. There's just a lot happening throughout the board, and these MX-5s are definitely going to be pushed to their limits in most parts of today's track. Monkus now 3.5 seconds behind Sketch, with Will 3/10 behind him, jumping on board with Monkus. Look back behind. Aiden goes very wide. Aiden goes very, very wide in that part of the track. Gets a little bit loose. Nothing too crazy, but that's now putting him a second behind, with Tim now chasing down. He's chasing him down. Lynx and Corey are changing positions as well. This is very, very close. Very good driving so far. I'm not at all surprised, but still very, very impressed. Let's quickly jump back up a little bit further. We'll look at Sketch and Mixter, again showing a display of absolute incredible driving in these MX-5s. We all knew that the Mazdas were going to be great cars to race in this season, but every single week that we do these replays and every single week we do our race days, it just surprises me more and more and more how good these cars are to race as a community. It is absolutely insane. Let's quickly jump up to Will as well. Will and Monkus are very, very close together through turn 1. Monkus still out in front. Aiden right behind Will. Will tucking right in behind. He goes a little bit wide, but nothing too crazy. Let's jump on board with Will quickly. You can see him right behind Monkus, 2.5 tenths. And again, this is going to give Will a very good run through this part of the track. He's already very close through the uphill part of this straight, and now he's still going to be flat foot, 170 kilometers an hour in 4th gear. He's going to get the slipstream. Look at the pace that he gains by being in that slipstream of the car. Is Monkus going to defend on the inside? Is Will going to be forced to the out? He gets very, very close. Very, very close. Is Will going to make a dive? Is Will going to make a dive? They are touching. They are touching heading to the bus stop. Will backs off a little bit. Monkus a little bit more confident on the brakes. Gets a little bit loose there from Will. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Will touches a tire in the dirt. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. But Will still in P6 chasing down Monkus. Aiden 4.5 tenths behind Will, chasing down that P6 again. Wants that position and wants to get it back. We've got myself 7 tenths behind Yearn up in P2. I don't know how in the hell we've managed to get this close. I don't know how I've managed to get back up into P2. But I'm holding it, and I'm pretty bloody impressed with myself to be that close. But you can see Yearn, he's still almost a second ahead, and it feels like no matter what I do, I just cannot seem to catch the man. He is so quick, so fast, and so consistent in this MX-5 that whenever you get an opportunity to overtake him, you have to take it. Because I've made that mistake in more than one occasion, and I'm sure we're probably going to see another one today, that as soon as you get an opportunity to overtake Yearn, you have to capitalize. Because if you don't, he will make you regret it. And he's done it to me many times in these races so far. So I'm not surprised to see him already out in front by a second, doing a bloody great job. I cannot wait to see what the rest of this race is like. We have a 40-minute session here today, like we do in all of the Season 4 of the Spud Cup. We are currently 17.5 minutes in, lap number 8 here at Watkins Glen. Now, you will have to pit. The guys will have to pit and come in and get some fuel throughout the race at some point today. You will not make it on the fuel that is allocated to you at the start of the race. It is up to you whether you do take tires. You won't have to pit for tires if you don't want to. They do take a pretty big beating. The front tires on these cars will take an absolute smashing through Watkins Glen, because you can see just by looking here, look at the oversteer, understeer that you get from these cars. you're just throwing them in. You are throwing them in and hoping for the best, and just absolute commitment at most of these high-speed corners. Through turn 1, you're dropping down to second gear, and you are throwing it into that curb. Much like the bus stop, you're throwing it through the bus stop, this part here that we're coming up to. There are so many parts of the track that you are just launching your car in. It shreds your front tires. It really, really does, and you'll start to feel it by the last half of this race. So it's going to be very interesting to see if people, if and who decide to come in for tires when they get their fuel. It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. Let's jump a little bit further down. We can see Matt right behind Tim. They are very, very close. Again, this is going to be one of those tracks. You can see Matt just chasing down Tim. Chasing him down. Is he going to make a dive? I don't think he will. He gets right behind him to the bus stop, tucks in right behind. So far, so good. Will makes a move on Aiden. Sorry, Aiden makes a move on Will. They're going to be side by side, and Aiden gets back it up. Aiden gets up to P6. Will down to P7. Aiden is now 1.6 seconds behind Munkus. Munkus is 2.7 seconds behind Sketch. And Sketch, let's jump up to him now. You can see him right behind Mixter doing an incredible job. He is now 7/10 behind Mixter and making his presence known behind that black and pink car. Mixter is definitely seeing Sketch in his rearview mirror and knows what he's about and knows that he wants his position back. Sketch now to P4, 8/10 behind Mixter. Mixter is 5.3 seconds behind myself, and I am 1 second behind Yearn. Again, like I said, Yearn is definitely out there to show to make a point today, and he's doing a bloody good job of it. So far, we started with 20 drivers. We are now down to 14 in a 20-minute session. 40-minute session. 20 minutes in, we are already down to only 14 drivers, which I'm not at all surprised by, judging by how hard everyone's racing these cars today so far. We've got Lars, CJ, Jeff, JDM, Tom, and David are out of the race. Now, granted, Tom is our race control, so he was never going to compete in this race anyway, but it just goes to show the statistics, I guess. Let's jump up to the guys in front. You can see Yearn still out in front with a 1 second lead. Now, I don't know what lap we come into pit in this race here today, but let's just have a look at our sectors here, and you can see myself, I'm 2.5 tenths faster in Sector 1, but Sector 2, 3, and 4, I'm losing time every single lap. I'm 1.5 tenths faster in Sector 5, but it's just not enough. Now we've got Will. Will's coming into pits. This is our very first pit stop of today's race. He's the first person to come to pit lane and get his fuel. That is a very, very interesting choice, potentially coming in for the undercut. Not exactly sure what the plan here is, but he's doing a bloody good job. And Matt's actually, so that's CJ, I do apologize, sorry. CJ is already in the pits. CJ's already in the pits. I think he was towing from an earlier damage, a bit of carnage earlier on. I think he actually said during the race that he had a power outage. But we can see here now, if you have a look at Will's car, he's getting his car lifted up, which means I think Will's coming in to get some tires. I think Will is getting a new fresh change of tires. That is a very, very interesting choice, very interesting decision. We can also see now CJ is coming out of the pits. So CJ is actually a lap down from the guys out in front. I think what he mentioned during today's race is that he lost power, he got booted out of the race and then rejoined and then had to try and make up whatever positions he could from the guys that were currently out of today's session. So CJ is just going to be doing some hot laps now to try and unlap himself from the guys that have already finished today's race. That'd be a very, very interesting comeback story there from CJ, but we'll see what folds out from his race. Let's jump up to Jake now. You can see Jake right behind Lynx. Lynx doing a bloody good job up in P11. Absolutely killing it. Let's jump on board with Jake now and see exactly what is going on here. Let's look at our sectors for these drivers. You can see Jake is a little bit faster than Lynx in Sector 1. Corey also faster in Sector 1. Lynx doing a bloody good job. Already up into P11. She is absolutely killing it. To start the race on the grid here today, I think it was 18th. I think she started in today's race. To be up to P11, that is 9 positions in 20 minutes. That is an incredible job. Well done to her so far. Let's hope she can hold out and see exactly how this unfolds for the end of today's race. You can see Jake putting the work in. Lynx faster in Sector 2 than both Jake and Corey. Definitely putting in the work, and the improvement, again, another one of those drivers, the improvement is absolutely insane and very, very noticeable. So you should definitely be proud of yourself, Lynx, because I know we are. Let's jump up to the guys on the grid. You can see Yearn coming into the pits, and I'm following. So that's me, Yearn. We have Mixter. We have not Munkus, so we have Sketch. We have Aiden. Munkus is the only one that did not pit. That puts Munkus out into P1. That's Yearn, me, Mixter, Sketch, Aiden, Tim, Matthew. Everyone is now coming into the pits to get our fuel. We had to absolutely utilize all the fuel in the tank as possible, and that's now Dart coming into the pits also. Everyone's now coming into pit lane. it's going to be very interesting to see who can get the jump, who can get out, get as much fuel as they need, and can make through, and who's going to get back out on the track as fast as possible. I know by memory it wasn't me, and it hurt. It hurt seeing the other cars start driving away. You can see Jörn in P2 still, Munkus P1. Everyone's coming to the pits. Dart, Matthew, Lynx, Jake, everyone. And here he is, Jörn, our current race leader, has now coming out of the pits. Mixter as well coming out of the pits right behind me. I was very late to get out of my pit box. I had to get a little bit more fuel than I needed, I think. I overfilled. But it's fine. We're back out on the track. I'm currently in P3. Jörn, 35 seconds behind Munkus, but Munkus still needs to come in for the pits. I am now 4 seconds behind Jörn and 4 seconds in front of Mixter. This is definitely not at all how I wanted my pit stop to go, but it is what it is. It is what it is. What can you do? You can't change it. You got to learn and move forward. We got Tim now in P8. Let's jump down to him real quick. You can see him right behind Matthew, chasing him down. Tim is 4 tenths behind Matt, and he's ready and out here. Tim's another one of those drivers that we've seen. The progression has been phenomenal. Incredible driving so far, and just an incredible improvement. We've seen him through the GT3, the GT4 cars, the F4 cars, now the MX-5s, and just look at him absolutely sending it in. He backs up a little bit. He tries to put Matt under pressure through the bus stop, flying through the bus stop. He's putting Matt under pressure, hoping for a mistake so he can get an easy overtake, but he's still trying to plan his move to make sure that his overtake is done correctly and doesn't have to worry about trying to fight back and forth and losing the time to the guys out in front. Because you guys know, once you start battling for that position, the chances that you're going to slow your laps down and you're going to be fighting back and forth, attack and defend, the guys that are out in front that you're chasing are going to become marginally harder to catch and increasingly more difficult to close that gap. We are now at our 25-minute mark. Munkus, our current race leader, is now coming into the pits, which puts our order back to where it should be. Jörn out in front, myself in P2 and Mixter in P3 when this pit stop is finished. Depending on how much of a lead he's made, this will be very interesting to see what happens through this part of the track. Let's quickly jump down to Sketch. Sketch right behind Mixter. Again, doing a bloody good job. 2.5 tenths behind him. Incredible work by the guys here. Such a great drive already so far. Doing 100 kilometers an hour in P2 in second gear through that part of the left. Now Jörn crossing our race leader. Let's see. We're waiting for Jörn to go through the pit lane. Let's see what happens here. I don't know if Munkus is coming back out on the pits yet. I don't know if he's back coming out of the pits. It's going to be very interesting. Is he? No, he's still getting fuel. Okay, Jörn is now past our leader. Jörn is back up into P1. I think myself, I'm going to be getting in past him into P2. Already out to P2. And now we go. God, Munkus is coming out of the pits as we speak. Is that going to put Munkus in P4 or P5? I don't think it's going to put him in P4. It may put him in P4. You can see Mixter there goes a little bit wide. This puts Munkus into P3. How has he managed that? What an incredible job by staying out for one more lap than everybody else and coming into the pits late. That has given him the chance to sneak his way into P3. What a move. The overcut has absolutely shown how effective it is. What a great maneuver there by him. Incredible timing. Just such a great job. Such a great job. Let's have a look now. I'd like to jump on board with Mixter. You can see him chasing down Munkus, but now everyone has to readapt because there's more fuel in the car. The cars are heavier than they have been this entire race, besides lap 1, which is not really going to be counting as a fast lap because you're already you're worried about what other cars are around you and how things are going to be reacting. You're not really thinking about the weight of the car and really throwing it in its absolute limits. You've got so many things happening around you that you're just trying to keep the car out of carnage and out of harm's way. Mixter now 3.5 tenths behind Sketch, but like I said, everyone's trying to readapt. Everyone's trying to learn these new cars again. More fuel, rework your lines, rework your braking zones, and just see how these tyres now, being so worn after 30 minutes of thrashing them here at Watkins Glen, how they're going to react with a full tank of fuel. That is going to be something that's really, really crucial for a lot of these drivers here today, and how they're going to learn the different way the cars feel now with all this extra fuel in there. We'll see how that turns out for everyone else. We mixed up 3.5 tenths behind. Let's jump back on board with him. Doing 100 k's an hour in second gear, chasing down Munkus, and again, like I've said a million times already, Mixter is one of those drivers that's willing to just hang back, wait for his time to strike, and make sure that he only has to do it once. I'm very, very impressed by the level of driving that we've had here today already. Such a great work across the board. Let's jump onto myself now in P2. I don't know how I've held on to P2 for this long. I thought I was going to hold it for maybe a lap or two, but to be 12 laps in and still holding on to P2, I'm very, very impressed with myself. Jörn now completing a lap of 2:12.2. Let's see what I can clap back with, a 2:13.2. That puts Jörn at a second faster per lap. Now, I noticed as soon as we left the pits, Jörn just starts pulling away. He's made up a second already just in one lap, and I can already tell that this is going to happen more and more and more as these laps go on. So we'll see exactly how that turns out. But to see Munkus still up in P3, he's done such a phenomenal job with that pit strategy to get himself up into P3. And the driving alone has just been absolutely bananas, absolutely insane. Let's quickly jump down to Mixter now. Mixter and Munkus battling it out. Let's jump on board with him. You can see right behind Munkus, Mixter makes a move on the inside, but not quite. Munkus blocks him off, but he doesn't want to make the move again. Like I said, you can see right here, Mixter not diving in unnecessarily. He's getting the car stable, making sure he's got a good line, chasing down Munkus. Oh, he goes a little bit wide. I shouldn't have said a bloody thing. Mixter went a little bit wide. Oh my God. Here I was thinking he's going to be very calculated. He accidentally put a tire in the dirt. Mixter, that's all my fault. I do apologize. That's all my bloody fault. I can't believe I've just done it to him. Cannot believe I've just done it to him. You can see now here, we have this downhill left chasing down Munkus. Right behind him, we have Sketch in P5, Mixter in P4. You got Matt 4/10 behind Tim in P7 and 8. And you can see Jörn now still with a 6-second lead. Absolutely insane. Now, this isn't a chopper view from the hairpin that we've got here. Now, this right-hander hairpin is an uphill right and very, very easy to hit that oversteer with too much acceleration and too much of a turning angle. Let's jump now down to Aiden. You can see Aiden making a move by the looks of things. We can see him on Jake, and it looks like he's going to be making a move through the bus stop. Oh, a little bit wide there from him, but Jake is under pressure. He moves out to the outside. I don't know if that's intentional or if he just took it a little bit wide. I think he's getting out of Aiden's way. I think he can recognize that Aiden is definitely a little bit faster, and he's moved out of the way to make it a little bit smoother for that overtake for Aiden. You can see, 2.5 tenths in Sector 1 just on Dart alone, and then you can see, on Jake, 2.5 tenths slower, 5 tenths slower in Sector 2, doing a bloody good job. That's a smart move there from Jake to see that he's just holding Aiden up and to try and get out of the way safely without having to jostle for position and risk any sort of incident. Whether that was the case or he had a slowdown, not entirely sure. But still, great to see some safe driving and some conscious decisions about overtakes that are happening throughout today's race. Incredible work so far. Mixter still 7.5 tenths behind Munkus in P4. Sketch a second behind Mixter in P5. Jörn over a 6-second lead. He has over 6 seconds of a lead on everyone else on the grid here today. Jörn absolutely putting in the work. But now I'm facing some problems. I have Munkus less than 2 seconds behind me. He's 1.8 tenths behind me. 1.8 seconds, sorry. We are now at the 30-minute mark. We have less than 10 minutes to go. Less than 10 minutes and counting on today's race. Can I hold off Munkus for the next 10 minutes? He has 1.6 seconds to go. 1.6 seconds of a gap, sorry, I apologize. He's very, very close to me. I know my tires are starting to fall away. I'm getting a little bit not as confident in the car as I was when today's race started. But you can see him, he's closing the gap. He is closing the gap very quickly. I knew when he came out of pits, and I knew I had a 4.5 second lead. And I felt a little bit of false confidence in that bit of a gap, but you can see him now 1.5 seconds, and Mixter and Sketch trailing very, very close behind. I need to get a wriggle on it. I need to get further away from these guys at the back there and hope that they start battling each other a little bit more. Otherwise, I might be in a world of hurt here. You can see them now less than 1.5 seconds and closing. They're closing in on me. Tim is now making a move with Matt. Oh, Tim spun! Oh, God, why do I keep looking at the cameras every time they spin? Tim, I'm so sorry. I swear it's not my fault. I mean, it might be, but I swear it's not. Oh, God, let's quickly get away from me before he gets angry with me. Timmy, I'm so sorry. Let's jump down to Corey. Corey making a move on links. They're side by side. This is where the action is. Down into the bus stop. Corey on the inside. Still, very cautious line there. Links, incredible line. Look at the job. Oh, God, no, I shouldn't have looked. Links, I'm sorry. Oh, God, sorry. Oh, let's move up further ahead. We didn't see anything. I swear we didn't see a thing. Mixter, 3.5 tenths behind Munkus. Very, very close to the guys in the last quarter of today's race. Jumping on board with him now. Look at Munkus go. Look how close they are to me now. Jesus. 1.5 tenths still. Very, very close. I'm getting a little bit further ahead because they are starting to battle. Mixter, 2 tenths behind him. Look at this going into turn 1. Very, very close. They are very, very close. Jumping on board with that chopper now. You can see the chopper chasing down these two cars. Look at them. Look at them go. Munkus out in front, not by much. 4 tenths of a lead in front of Mixter. Now he's using the slipstream of myself and a little bit of that clean air to get a little bit closer. 1.6 seconds of a gap between myself and Munkus. I'm trying my absolute hardest here. We have less than 8 minutes left of today's race session. We are currently on lap 15. I have that long to get out in front, stay out in front. I have a 1.5 second distance to the cars behind, which is Munkus and Mixter. And this is where things can all come undone. Looking at the guys there, you can see Munkus in car 1, Mixter and right behind him. Very, very close. Mixter throwing the back end of that car out just to get to the bus stop and the quickest pace that he wants to. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Jumping on board with him now, you can see Munkus 2.5 tenths behind. And this is why we love these MX-5s, because they are so tight in their racing. So close. So close. You can see Munkus getting a little bit more confident, starting to pull away slightly in that downhill left, but this is really bad news for me. I want to see them battle more. I want to see them taking opportunities for overtake each other, because that means I'm going to be able to get a little bit further away. I'm now 1.3 seconds away from the guys behind me, which is not great. We are 7 minutes left, less than 7 minutes left of today's race. We're coming down to the last 5 minutes, and they are slowly but surely closing that gap. Mixter right behind Munkus, about to make a move, but he doesn't. Again, like I said, he picks his moments. I wish he was not as calculated. I need him to be diving it, sending it in on Munkus and making him rethink his decisions. This is a very tight end of the race. Absolutely insane. So far, so good for Jörn. He's 6.5 seconds ahead of myself. Everyone else is now starting to fizzle into their positions. They're settling into what they're going to be ending today's race on. Everybody's pit. You've got quite a bit of a gap between most drivers. Sketch has a 3-second gap to Mixter. Will has an 8.5 second gap to Sketch. Matthew, 6.5 second gap to Will, and that's just P5, 6, and 7. Everyone else below that, again, has very similar distances. The main competitors that we're looking at right now is Mixter with a 2.5 second gap to Munkus, and now Munkus in P3 is 1.1 seconds behind me in P2. Jörn has pretty much solidified his win at this point. As long as he keeps it clean and he keeps it safe, I'm going to have to worry about Munkus and Mixter in Ps 3 and 4 chasing me down. Munkus is about to make a move, and he's about to get within a second of me, and I think he's just done it. I think he's just made his move, and he has. He is less than a second away. Looking on the back of the car now, look at them chasing me down. I remember seeing these two cars in my rearview mirror, and it made me nervous. I panicked. Was genuinely panicking. You can see Munkus half a second faster in Sector 1. He's half a second faster. How can I compete with half a second difference in Sector 1 alone? Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Let's see Sector 2. He's 1.2 tenths. He's a tenth and a half faster in Sector 2. He's now a half a second away. We've got 5 minutes left. We are now at the 35-minute mark. We have less than 5 minutes left of today's race, and Munkus is absolutely bearing down on me. 6 tenths. He's made his way from 5 seconds to 6 tenths within 10 minutes, and I am blown away by doing that. Not only with the pressure of Mixter 2 tenths behind him this entire time, but his pace has been absolutely insane. For reference, Munkus's last lap was a 2:12.2. Mine was a 2:12.7, so only half a second of a difference. And my best lap is actually a 2:10.9, and Munkus is a 2:11.3. So it just goes to show my pace is not that much slower than what Munkus is doing. But Munkus is under pressure from Mixter, very close behind him. Very close behind him. You can see, look at the distance. It is absolutely insane. Mixter bearing down on him. We're on the second last corner. This is the last corner of the race. Look at this. Last corner of the lap. Look at how close Mixter is. Munkus under pressure. Not a care in the world. Absolutely killing it. Hats off to him. Absolutely insane. The racing again, we said this a million times today already. The MX-5s have provided such incredible close racing, and like I said, we've got 3.5 minutes left of today's race, and I can bet your ass it is not over. It is very close, and it's only going to be rougher before the end of today's race. Let's see exactly what unfolds and how this happens for the rest of the drivers. Mixter still 2.5 tenths. Munkus is now in dangerous territory to myself. Look at how close he is, utilizing the entirety of my slipstream. He is less than 4 tenths. He's 3.5 tenths and closing. 3 tenths heading to the bus stop. This is dangerous. This is bad news for me. Absolutely bad news for me. Munkus, 1.5 tenths behind me. Can he make a move? He can't. Not quite, but he's bloody there. Right behind us at the bus stop. I pull away slightly, only by about 5 tenths. Nothing too crazy. Munkus right behind me. Mixter jumping, look behind him. He's right there. Mixter's pressure is freaking insane. They are right there. What is going to happen here? You can see I get on the brakes a little bit early. My tires are starting to really fall away. I don't want to go wide on any of these corners. I want to try and keep my line clean. I want to try and close the door and defend as best as absolutely possible because I know that both of these drivers, Mixter and Munkus, are going to take the opportunity to get past me as soon as they can. As soon as they can. We have less than 3 minutes left. We have 2.5 minutes left of today's race, and I'm going to have to get into the defensive position. This is where things can turn out for me. This is where things could horribly go wrong. Let's see exactly what happens. I have to make a move on the inside to get defensive. Munkus on the outside. I have to brake a little bit earlier to try and slow the car. I slowed the car way too much. Munkus makes a move on the outside and he gets it to stick. What is going to happen here? Munkus goes a little bit wide. Mixter tucked right behind me. Munkus now P2. There is less than half a tenth. Mixter dives up on the inside. Dives up on the inside. That is Mixter. Side by side with me. We nudge. Me and Mixter have a bit of a knock, bit of a contact. Nothing too crazy. This is very, very tight. We're side by side through this part of the track on board with me. You can see nothing too bad. They're side by side. Me and Mixter. Touching, nothing too crazy, going through the final turn. I'm on the inside, I have the inside line, me and Mixter side by side. I could fold in his mirror if I lent out the car, and Mixter makes the move stick. He makes it happen. I'm right behind him, but I've just gone from P2 in the last 1.5 minutes of today's race. I've gone from P2 to P4 from one fatal mistake, and now Mixter has done the same thing. He's gone wide. That's given me the opportunity to tuck in right behind him. This is our final lap. We have white flag. White flag has been waved. This is going to be very, very tight for the last part of the race. We are less than a tenth. I just completely forgot how to talk just now because I'm getting so freaking excited. Even though I was in this race, I don't know what happens. I'm right behind Mixter. Bump drive slightly. I accidentally nudged him. I have no idea how close I was. This is very, very close. I should have taken the opportunity to get past him then, but I didn't. This might have nailed the coffin for me, but we're only halfway through the lap. We have plenty of time left. I get on the brakes a little bit earlier, trying to settle the car and make sure I got a good line coming through the bus stop. It's paid back a little bit. I'm just behind Mixter. This is going to be very, very close. Very, very close. I get really close to Mixter. I have to back off a little bit. Mixter closes the door on me. Nothing too crazy. There is 2 tenths between me and Mixter. That is a podium position we are both fighting for. Munkus is now 7 seconds behind Jörn. Jörn has an 8-second gap between 1 and 2. Mixter is 6 tenths behind Munkus, but this is where it comes down to. It is me and Mixter fighting for the final podium position. There is 3 tenths of a gap between us. That is nothing. That can all be changed within one corner, and it could be done there. We're very, very close. 3 tenths between this right-hander, the hairpin. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 corners left. This is going to be very, very tight across the board. We're going to jump on board and stay on board with myself now. Final lap. We are literally within the last 7 seconds of today's race. This is going to be very, very close. We have 1 right-hander. Mixter gets a little bit late on the brakes. I get very close. This is so close. Touching to the back of Mixter's car. 2.5 tenths. Then we have 1 left. We have a left, and then a left, and then a right. We got 3 corners left. I don't know how to count because I'm losing my mind. I'm right behind Mixter, car number 18. I lose it a little bit. Oh, it gets a little bit squirrely. It gets a little bit squirrely. I think I've just sealed the deal. I've lost it because I had a little bit of oversteer on that corner. There is no way I'm going to be able to make up that distance. Absolutely no way. This is a last-ditch effort to try and get as much pace as I can. And I go wide. Panicked and go wide. That was the final opportunity to make that move happen. And I just couldn't quite get it to stick. That is Jörn crossing the line. Our race leader is a winner of today's race in P1 with Munkus in P2 and Mixter in P3 with myself chasing through right behind him in P4 with Sketch rounding out P5. Absolutely insane racing. I cannot believe that I managed to hold on to P2 for that long of today's race, all to lose it in the last 1.5 minutes of today's main feature. That is absolutely insane and such a disappointing feeling to see that get lost again. I remember feeling it and I remember living in the moment when it happened, but now to have to go back and rewatch it is just salt in the wound. Salt in the wound. Incredible racing there from Mixter and Munkus. It just goes to show why they are in P1 and P2 and P3. Jörn, 8 seconds ahead. 8 seconds of a win Jörn pulled out today, which is exactly why he takes home P1. But incredible driving from Munkus and Mixter in the last couple of laps there. Absolutely insane racing to watch. Insane racing to watch. Let's have a look now and see exactly what is happening in our race results to see how everyone else stacked up across the grid. Let's have a look now at our feature results and see exactly how this looks. We have Yearn in P1 with Munkus, P2 and Mixter in P3. That was our 3 podium sitters, and again, incredible racing by those guys there today. Absolutely insane. Underneath that, we have myself and Sketch in P4 and 5. Below that, we have Will, Matt, Tim, Dart, and Aiden rounding out our top 10 positions in today's race. Below them, we have Jake, Matthew, Corey, Lynx, CJ, Lars, Jeff, and JDM rounding out our top 18 positions with Tom and David underneath that. But like we said at the start of the race, Tom is our race control, so he wasn't actually competing in today's race, which finishes up our grid of 18 drivers. Again, I want to say a massive, massive thank you to everyone for driving so incredibly today. The driving was so much cleaner than I thought it would be, and the amount of turnout that we have in these races for Season 4 has been insane, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Cannot thank you guys enough. Now, one of the comments that I have heard a couple of times on these videos is that you'd like to see how the standings are and what the results are. So what we're going to do right before the end of today's video is we're going to go through the results and see how this championship standing is shaken up with these race sessions so far, and maybe making it a more regular thing at the end of every race session. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to know what you think. So at the end of round 4, you can see how our Drivers' Championship is stacking up. I have no idea how I've managed to do it, but I am out in front. I'm currently leading Season 4 of the Spud Cup with 139 championship points. Underneath myself, we have Yearn with 129, very, very close, with Michael in 124, very, very close. The top 3 are literally within 15 points of each other. It is absolutely insane. You can see both Michaels 3 and 4 are only 2 points away, with Aiden in P5 at 107 points. This race definitely changed a lot of the standings, but it's only round 4. We have 8 more races to go of the season, so 139 points in our race lead is not going to hold on for very, very long. I can't imagine me holding on this position for much longer to come. But so far in the season, we have myself out in P1, Yearn in P2, and then Michael in P3 for the Season 4 here of the Spud Cup. If you guys like this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe. I post these videos every single week, and you do not want to miss them. If you guys want to come and check out these races live, we stream them every single Friday. All the information will be in the description below. I would love to have you guys there. Let me know you found this video and come and join the Spud Cup community live. We would love to have you part of it. If you guys want to join us on any of our social media, all the links will be in the description. Other than that, guys, I'm going to leave you all to it. I hope you enjoyed this week's Spud Cup race. I'll see you next week, and bye!